The old saying goes that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But does the saying also kind of include teaching an old dog its old tricks all over again? Metallica's Just a Bullet Away is going to be a strange delving into the second of those two statements. Mainly because this is an outtake from the Death Magnetic sessions that, for one, should have been on the sessions. However, I can also understand why it wasn't. This is a track that really conjures and brings back a lot of old hearkenings to And Justice for All on the Black Album in a nice, neat little package, which is something that can be spoken of Death Magnetic in general. Death Magnetic, if you really want to put it in a musical chronology, by the tone in which it really inflects, would be the perfect album that kind of bridged the gap between And Justice for All and the Black Album, even though it was made, well, 20 years nearly later. Just a Bullet Away harkens back to a lot of those great moments, as most of the other elements of Death Magnetic did. And this is something that seems like it would be a pretty nice, neat fit on the album. I think the reason why this song was really removed from the record or didn't make the cut for the record is because, well, maybe it fit the tone of the time too well. It didn't really fit the modern tone that Death Magnetic really brought to the table, and instead really reminded people too much of a song that would have or should have been released all the way back then. It's a weird little throwback. This is a song that really inflects a lot of different moods, not to mention, even though it still has the modern, more mainstream guitar tone and feel to it by Metallica, it still has a lot of nice subtleties that really show that Metallica is a band that truly does continue to evolve, even if it is in a direction that some of us don't exactly like. The start of the second movement of this song, what a lot of people could call part 2 of this track, is almost downright proggy. It's about as proggy as Metallica's going to get without Lou Reed. And this is a song in which it is actually displayed. Kirk has a solo in here that seems like it's going nowhere, however it then is allowed time to evolve and grow. Not to mention musically mature, and whenever it does so, it actually buds into a nice little moment. Now this isn't going to be a classic Metallica solo that people are going to put on the top 10 lists and scream at the top of their lungs, "Why the hell was this not on the album? This is a great solo." That's nothing necessarily new. We're not flying off of the handlebars of the bike and going into new territory here. However, this is something that we haven't seen since And Justice for All. We haven't seen these sort of random diversions into other little ideas in music. Typically, these Metallica songs that we've been getting ever since the Black Album have been pretty cut and dry. Once you hear the opening riff, you can almost kind of tell where it's going. And the only thing that you couldn't really, I guess, imagine is, well, the little subtleties, the little things that are inside the song. But this is a track that actually has the full package. It has a nice set of lyrics, ones that actually seem very well thought out. It has a great musical texture to it. It's something that was allowed to mature, and as an idea, matured very well. In fact, it matured into a very successful song, in my opinion. One that actually was a mistake for it to be left off of this album. It's one that I would highly recommend that they definitely release, and one that I definitely believe would get a lot of respect and attention. If you haven't sampled Just a Bullet Away, I will leave a link in the description box for you. And hopefully it won't get taken down the minute that I put this up. If not, then definitely seek the song out. This is a song that's very worthy of your ears. Which is strange to say about a Metallica song, considering I haven't been able to say that for quite some time. And I envision that the whole Death Magnetic record is just kind of, I guess, the best part of Metallica's discography, ever since the two pieces of shit that kind of encase it in Lulu and Saint Anger. But overall, I really enjoyed Just a Bullet Away. I think this is a nice track that has a lot of classic throwbacks that Death Magnetic was really intended to provide. However, it was too much of a throwback. It was one where it really reminded people way too much of the old days, to the point where it almost sounds like it was made back then. And maybe that's why it was left out. Seems like a stupid reason, but let's face it, Metallica these days would be the band that would leave off probably one of the most solid songs that they've done in about 10 to 15 years. Go figure.